The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to another KevCAM night class tonight. Tonight have Tim Carl helping out with any questions or concerns that come along the way for you guys. Tim, are you with us?
I am here.
And Greg Payton as well to make sure I'm hitting all my key points for you guys. Greg, are you with us?
Good evening, everybody. I must say that I am pretty excited about this thrilling conclusion to what's new in 2022 after leaving us on a cliffhanger last week.
Yeah. So this and kind of why we left a cliffhanger, we're trying to keep these night classes just a little bit shorter, just because the hour does get to be a little bit long for watching at night for you guys. So we're gonna kind of get these a little bit quicker through. But so what we are going to be covering tonight is what's new in SolidCAM 2020, the 2.5D general section, and then some other key points that are part of the general section of what's new going off of last week's. So quite a mouthful there, but all right. So I do see a couple new names in here. So just quick housekeeping to go through is everybody is muted just to eliminate any background noise. If you guys do have questions, definitely feel free to ask those right away. And Tim will let us know what those questions are. Completely laid back training class for you guys, and just kind of show you the tips and tricks of kind of going through it. If you guys did miss last week's, you can go to the SolidCAM University channel, and you'll see the 2.5D milling part 1 right here from last week, as well as we've started a daily SolidCAM live of basically you guys pick the topic, and we can help you guys through that. So Mark is doing a great job of putting that on, but definitely come here and check it out. All right, enough with the rambling.
Now, Kevin?
Yeah?
How do the guys get signed up for the live, or were you hosting that through?
That is a great
question. Are they
question.
finding that on the website?
It is on an email that was sent to all of you guys for the Corona Get Well program. Let me just look here. I just type in live. Let's see, I'm trying to see. So if anybody is looking for this, let me open up my email real quick. Like I said, you guys should have gotten the email here, but I will put the link as soon as my email opens up here. And okay, anyone that would like to join this free training of SolidCAM Live, I'm putting it in the chat as we speak right now, and you should be able to click that link and it will get you registered for tomorrow. So should be in there for everyone.
And then in the video description for people joining us after the fact on YouTube?
Yep, in the description of the video, it will be down there as well. Hopefully I remember to put it in there as I'm editing the video, so it should be in there for you as well. So thanks, Greg, for pointing that out. So like I said, we started this on Monday. Mark did one talking about transform with and temporary bridges, and today we're talking about STL stock. So tomorrow we will be talking about adding additional parts into multiple parts inside of one CAM project. So, okay. So what I want to show you guys is the second half of the 2.5D here. Like I said, the first one, what I would like to show you guys is the lead in and lead out now has full associativity. So what we mean by that is these sketch points in here we are going to use for our lead in and lead out. Now, with these sketch points are created in the assembly level. So I can see I got a couple points, this point right here, as well as this point right here, that are done on the associative level. Now, in the past, since it was in the assembly level, and in the past, since it was an assembly level outside of the design model itself, we lost all associativity. So based off of your guys' suggestions, we have made that fully associative for you guys now. So let's go ahead and do an example of that. So I got just a standard profile operation here. Now, if I go to my links, we talked about these links in when we were talking about profile operation before, but the one that usually gets looked over quite a bit is point. So what you can do is we can come in here and I can tell it what point I would like to pick. So for my chain number 1, I can tell it that I would like to use actually this point up here. And for profile 2, I can pick this point right here. Profile number 3, I can grab this point right here, and so on and so forth. So we can do finish. And for my ending, I will pick this guy right here, and let's just grab this guy right here, and we'll go ahead and do finish. So let's go ahead and save and calculate now. And you'll see that that point, my extension point, is way out where I specified it, okay? So now, if I go over to my SolidWorks and come in here and edit my sketch, and maybe let's just make this down farther in between these other 2 points right there, as well as this point right here. Let's get it, let's go way off so we can see it very well, okay? Go ahead and hit your green check mark and go ahead and exit my sketch here. Now, if I go over to, let me get this expanded out here. If we go over to our SolidCAM, and now, and you'll see, as soon as I clicked anything on SolidCAM, it automatically updated that toolpath for me. So that point that was sitting way over here has already come over here, as well as this one way off in La La Land. So like we're kind of saying, now this is not just for your lead in and lead out. This is going to be for your sketch lines now, that if you guys create sketch lines in here and come in and change those sketch lines, you do have full associativity. So if we just kind of go through that again here, I'll just drag this one way up there, and this one right here we'll put over here. So now we have 2 points that I told it to start and end on. Exit out of my sketch, come over to our SolidCAM manager here, and you can see that it automatically updated for us right here. So the like I said, when you guys are drawing profile lines, sketch lines, anything in there, you don't have to be in the part level anymore. So, and the reason why we really wanted to focus on this is because it is much easier to come in here, right click and say sketch, and we can create a sketch point or sketch lines right here, versus having to come in and going over to our SolidWorks tab, editing our design model, and adding those sketch points in here. So it's going to make things, should make things a lot faster for you, as well as, like I said, the full associativity there for you. So, and yes, Tony.
Kevin.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was going to point out the question by Tony, but it looks like you are already on top of it.
Yep.
So I will let you go ahead.
Yep. So this, Tony's asking if this works with configurations. Absolutely. This works with configurations, with sketches, sketch points, and actually what I'm going to show you guys next is using geometry based off of configuration using points itself. So any other questions with the sketching in the assembly level being fully associative now? So what I would like to show you now is exactly what Tony is talking about with configurations. Hop out of this one here. And actually, I should go to my recents. I think it's this one. Nope.
I am glad to hear people talking about configurations because it really is a powerful aspect of SolidWorks that we can really take advantage of in SolidCAM.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we have a part, multiple different, multiple holes that are going on here. And when you guys pick your hole geometry, basically what it, or drilling geometry, basically what it's looking at is the center point of that hole. And it actually creates a point sketch in there to create that center of that hole. So let's go ahead and go to our 2 and Empty tab, and we will do drilling. And for our drilling, I'll go ahead and grab this and just click on our face to grab all our drill holes. And let's go ahead and just grab our drill real quick. Add, drill, not sure on the size, so I can come over here and just click on it. Green check mark. Okay. So we got our drill depths, everything's all set there. Now, if we go ahead and save and calculate, we have we have a bunch of holes right here. Now, what I did is I set up a configuration for each one of these. So let's say I have a configuration of this part where I have 16 holes, and I also have a configuration of this part that only has 10 holes, so the top holes are gone. So what I can do now is click on my 10 holes, and you'll see that my toolpath has automatically updated for us. So now we only have 10 holes. We can see the toolpath over here. If I go back to the 16, go ahead and watch right up here, and you'll actually see the toolpath automatically update as I go through that. So to your point, Tony, definitely well supported with configurations as well. Now, to get this to work 100% perfect, what I did is in my SolidCAM settings, go right here, I am telling it to go off of, I want to synchronize the design model to go with the current configuration. So anytime I change my current configuration, my geometry is going to update. Now, if I keep this at keep a geometry associative with parent, it's going to constantly just look at the parent configuration. And for those that are don't know a lot about configurations, this is going to be your parent, your default. But since we're going to be bouncing back and forth on this part, I want to go to the current configuration that I am viewing. So like I said, we got to go from 10 holes, click on 16, toolpath automatically updates as well for us. So
now, Kevin, we're going over configurations at this time, but what if there's a model change? Like what if the original model went from 16 holes to 10 holes?
Yeah, so let's do that. So we got 16 holes there, and we go back to our SolidCAM and close out of here. And somewhere I have that part file. I think. No, I don't have that part file, the original But what we can do is so what I'll do, go here and we'll open up this design model. And I'm gonna close out of this part. And now I just have the model open currently. Now, if I come in here and I am going to delete that, all those holes, so we just have those top ones there. Let's go to the extent of editing that feature and move around those 5 holes. So maybe I'm gonna have that hole there, that one there, this one here, and there. Hop out of there, and I'll save this out. And we will go to, I'm just gonna save it in my folder here. I'll say holes changed. Okay, now so now when I'm in here, I can come in here, change model reference, browse, and I'll grab that holes changed, open that one up. It's going to be replaced. It's letting me know. And you'll see it automatically updated that toolpath for us. So before we had the 16 holes in there, and now we went to a 5 holes and automatically updated. Now,
So regardless of if we're doing a configuration change or a model change, as long as we're maintaining the associativity rules in SolidWorks, SolidCAM is picking up on those geometry changes by using that smart face selection.
Yeah, great point. As well as family of parts. So you can see that I completely renamed this file from it's holes and pockets to updated holes, and kind of playing it off as, you know, this is a parent part, or you know, maybe a rev change, all that, and it will automatically pick up it as well. Now,
hey, Kevin.
Yep.
Lewis has a question about you know, if the configuration of the part does not have drills, does the CAM operation disappear?
So what will happen is it will pop up with an error, and let's actually do that. Seeing is believing, right? Is what they say in Santa Claus. All right, so let's go ahead and just suppress those holes. So I'm going to save that, and now SolidCAM will recognize that change. Do you want to replace it? It will say yes. And what it's telling us now is we have a little warning mark here. And if I hit the expansion note here, it's telling me that it cannot find the physical drill geometry. And so to get that caution mark to go away, I would have to go in there and edit that drill geometry. Or it's just telling me that, all right, those holes are no longer there. I can't perform the drilling operation that you're asking me to because there's no geometry to go along with that. So that can help answer your question there, Lewis. I think that's what he's looking for there.
Right. And what's nice about this is that because we're aware that that geometry doesn't exist for this particular instance of the part, we can suppress that operation. And if for any reason those holes were brought back into it, that operation can then be unsuppressed and updated back with those holes.
Let's do it. So let's go ahead and unsuppress. So we got our holes back in there. Now, as soon as I click on my SolidCAM tab, it's going to recognize that those holes were unsuppressed and bring up back my drill geometry. So let's see how to decrease the CAM file, because every time I open, save the file, the size gets bigger and bigger. So every time that you, so what Lewis's question is, every time he goes through and opens up a SolidCAM operation, and I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, Lewis, if adding geometry or taking away geometry, your file size does grow. If we go to our CAM part properties, we are currently with this part right now at 257 kilobytes. Now, inside SolidCAM, it's been there for quite a while, but what you can do, as you guys are going through, we are tracking the geometry that you guys change, any tools that are being used or unused, and it's actually, like, especially for the geometries, is all tracked right here in our geometries column. Now, to go through, and if your file size keeps getting bigger and bigger as you guys are adding or removing operations, what you can do is come and right click and say clean up CAM part, and we can remove any G-code files, updated stock files, any fixtures, tooling, all that. So if I do select all, and this one may not change because I only have one operation, but we were at 257, and now we are 257 because I really haven't changed anything in here. So
yeah, what you may want to do, Kevin, is simulate it. That way you're starting to build some STL models of the rest material, because that's what's going to contribute to the majority of the data that's being stored.
So we just did a quick simulation like Greg was saying. Let's go to CAM part properties. No, we're still at 257. But like I was saying, as you guys go through, and if I come in here and add new drilling, and even if I pick the exact same holes, it's going to be drilling geometry number 1. Save and calculate here. Now I can see that I have different drill geometries, unused ones currently right here. Now, if I go to my CAM part properties, nope, it's still at 257. But as we add more operations in there, this file size will continue to get larger and larger. And to maintain that, if you guys are looking to save a lot of space, even opening and closing to be a little bit faster, it's a great idea to come in here and do a cleanup CAM part and remove anything that's unused. So if I do cleanup CAM part, you'll see that I have a drill geometry that I'm not using right here. And now if I go to my geometry, there's nothing in there. So
yeah, just make sure you keep an eye on what's being removed, because if you have tools in your tool table that aren't assigned to any particular operation, but you want to keep them in there and you hit that select all button, you will wipe out those tools.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind.
Yep, great point. All right, any other questions with the drill geometry or associativity or configurations, anything like that? All right, I don't see anything in there. So now what I'd like to show you guys is a new feature that they've added in for pocketing, and this is also everything that I'm showing you guys tonight is actually from your guys' suggestions. So we definitely greatly appreciate that. So in Pocket, we are going to do let's do a pocket operation on this outside here. So by doing the smart face, and by smart face, just have to click on the face that I want to machine. It automatically knows that, all right, this is going to be a wall. My radius is going to be a wall all the way around, but the rest of it is an open edge. Now, previously with pocketing operation, you only had the option to extend the chain out past the geometry. So you could go 0 or anything greater. Now, to help out with if you guys are in a really tight corner or a tight area, or if you're kind of going against a fixture, you can actually do a open offset as a minus. So like I said, right now we are doing a positive. Let's go ahead and save and calculate. Oh, this was my hope to grab a tool here. And we'll just go ahead and grab a 1/2 inch end mill. Okay, so right now, jeepers, there is a 50-inch offset in there. So let's go ahead and put that maybe at 1 inch, a little bit more realistic here.
Yeah, you're really making sure that you're getting rid of that rest material.
Yeah, exactly. Getting paid by the hour, right, guys? Okay, now, and we can go something even smaller. Now, like I said, in the past, we have not been able to have control to keep it internal. So now, if we go ahead and do a minus 10 thou, now what it will do is it will keep those open edges internal by whatever number that you specify in here. Now, if you guys were working with SolidCAM 19 or older, you will get an error saying has to be greater than 0. So now you do have that option to do a negative offset in there as well. So nice little feature. All right. Go through my notes here, make sure. Okay, so one other thing that I would like to show you guys here is nothing too big, but let me hop out of here. And once again, it was a suggestion from you guys. It is our chamfer recognition. Now, myself, I've always cut aluminum or a little bit harder. Every once in a while we would cut Delrin, but it was brought to our attention that if we are running a, I can't think, chamfer recognition, that you guys only got the option to go one way. When you get into the very brittle materials, that using a climb cut would actually chip out the material. So what the suggestion that we got from you guys is to give the operator the option to switch that over to do conventional or climb cut. So now that option is in there for you. So if we go ahead and do a chamfer recognition here, and we'll go off of solid, we'll just go ahead and do everything here. Okay, so those are all my chains. And we're gonna do a protect, stay away from any walls by 10 thou. And go ahead and use the spot drill here. Levels, I want a chamfer of 10 thou. Technology. So now, if we go ahead and save and calculate this, let's go ahead and take a peek. Solid verify here. And that went a little too fast. We can see that we are climb cutting all these cuts in here. And like I said, by user suggestion, that when you are running very brittle materials, that doesn't work out so well because you will actually chip out there. And instead of getting a nice chamfer on there, you'll have chunks missing out in there. And the best way to control that is to reverse the direction or do a conventional cut. So now they have added in there the direction tab as well as the climb and conventional. So if we go ahead and switch it over to conventional here, And let's go ahead and simulate. And I'll single step this through. You can see that we are now conventional cutting everything. Now, you guys may ask, well, I just want a conventional mill, maybe just this pocket down here, and then the rest I would like to do regular. And you can do that. The only thing is you have to break it out into 2 different operations. So if we wanted to do everything except for that one, if I come in here, and I just got to find chain real quick. Oops. What's the second one? Okay. So if I go ahead and I can't uncheck. All right, let's cop out of here real quick. Do new. Grab our entire solid body. And this space I want to unselect. Now, I'll go to my technology. I'd like to climb cut that one. Now, what I can do is make a copy. And I go to my geometry, click new. And we'll just go by face. And that one I would like to control off of conventional cut. And now, so you guys can have multiple different directions for each chamfer that you would like to put in there. So on this pocket right here, we're doing a conventional. Where everywhere else, we are doing a climb cut.
So you still get the same automatic geometry selections, but a little more control over the final result.
Yeah, yeah. And before, what you guys, or a couple of the guys that were concerned about this, what they would have to do is create a profile operation and do it that route, where when you go to do that profile operation, there is a couple more additional steps in there to create that chamfer, where now you guys can do it right inside the chamfer recognition. So much easier and much quicker. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kevin, but I was just saying this would have been a nice feature to have when I was working in a shop, because we would get some parts out of some carbon steel that were flame cut, that those edges were hard in the pockets that we flame cut, but the rest of it that we can attach or attack in a climb cutting manner, we would. But there were certain the pockets that were flame cut, we'd have to come in and conventional cut, and this would have made life a lot easier.
Yeah. Anything to make your guys' life easier, that's what we're here for, right? Especially Ronnie's, he's got a tough one. All right, guys, any questions with the 2.5D or general section of the what's new? Nothing at all. All right, so with that being said, we'll kind of wrap things up here. Now, next week, if I remember right, I got to go back to our English flag here. And webinars, night class, can't remember. So next week, yeah, the next week one is missing. We're going to be covering machining of what's new in there. So I will, you guys will get an email tomorrow morning about that class update. So go ahead and definitely come check and register, and we'll be talking solely on the machining of what they've added in there for both 2D and 3D as well. So just want to thank everyone for joining the night class tonight. And like I said, going forward, we're going to keep these night classes just a little bit shorter. Try to keep them down to that half-hour range, just to, especially summertime. I know you guys are all busy. I know we're all kind of locked down in our houses. We have, but I know it's hard to dedicate an hour for the night class. So we'll try to keep these a little bit shorter and break them up a little bit, so we're not throwing so much information at you guys as well. But any suggestions, ideas, let us know what we can do. You guys should all have my email address, and just let us know how we can help you guys out. All right, thanks guys. Stay safe out there, and we will talk to you guys next Tuesday night. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful night.